Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to episode 220 of the Sticks and the Six podcast. As always, I'm your host, Andrew Forbes, here with my co-host, Peter Barricchini. We are live on YouTube, live on TikTok as well. I've got it off to the side, so those watching live on TikTok, join the conversation on YouTube now. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and tune in for all things Leafs and hockey. But before we get into all the fun talk, Peter, how you doing this week, my friend?
Doing great, man. I mean, it's really tough with a Western road trip swing with the Leafs because I do my best to try to watch every single game, but the Western ones always kill me as it does with everybody else. I mean, it's great that it's late at night. You get that little bit of silence watching the game compared to like if you're earlier in the day for me, at least for me anyways. But I don't know. Right past the first period, second period going in, I'm just like absolutely zonked. I just can't do it anymore sometimes. But yeah, it's been absolutely like crazy week with the Leafs overall. I know we're going to talk about the recaps of the games, the highs and lows of what we've seen recently. But man, if you're a Maple Leaf fan, how can you not feel excited considering what the season has been to this point? And I know we talked about it last week where maybe we were hitting the panic button a little bit, and maybe so. I mean, maybe we just got to let this team breathe a little bit because even so, they're making a big run at the best possible time as the Olympics approach.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think we did talk about it last week. We talked about the lack of panic early on this season from people that understand that this lineup has not been healthy up until the last week or so. And even then, Stolarz is still out of the lineup. Tanev's still out of the lineup. Now Robertson day-to-day with his injury. So it's good to see the successes starting to come. There's been a lot of conversation. Our friend of the show, Mark Masters, released a piece as well about Austin Matthews and being back to form, and he's just more engaged in all aspects of the game. Yeah. He had quotes from guys like Nyes and Domi and Berube, just recognizing the difference that they've seen in Austin Matthews in the last, let's say, 2 to 3 weeks versus
his demeanor is a different kind of look right now, man.
The release, we talked about the shot release, we talked about the skating, we talked about the engaging, we talked about even a little bit of more physicality, the celebration on his last goal where in Colorado, where he just kind of went to the fans and he gave it the old, like,
I'm back, baby.
I'm here.
I'm back.
So that kind of stuff we talk so much about physical players and how engaging physically is what makes them successful on the offensive end. Mm-hmm. What makes Matthews successful is that charisma, that cockiness, that confidence,
the aura.
When he starts playing with that, then all of a sudden, he's playing on a different level, and we're starting to see that again. We, up to what is it, 20, 21 or 22 goals now. Like he's back to a different level, and that's what the Maple Leafs need. And the difference being now is that they're getting that secondary help as well. I mean, did you know that Bobby McMann could skate that fast?
Okay. Yes and no. We knew he was fast. And it was there's probably a big exaggeration about his like speed being up there with Connor McDavid. He's like in the top 3, like the top like 3 percentile in the league in terms of like skating speed, bursts, and everything like that. If I'm not mistaken, I'll double check. But the way that McMahon has that big burst of speed, and we saw that with that breakaway goal against Colorado, that this guy can flat out fly. And now that he's using that size to his advantage, he's being mean in the corners. He's being physical. This guy is an all-round absolute unit right now for the Maple Leafs. And it's just another one of those power forward type players that Berube wanted to get the most out of. Even early on in the season when everyone was struggling too, Bobby McMann did not look like himself. And even he tailed off towards the end of last season in the playoffs. This guy's got a lot to ride on, especially if he's going to play for a new contract. He's got a chip on his shoulder, and he's playing like he wants to stay on this team. Yeah, Bobby McMann right now with 13, 14 goals. Robertson, before he went down, he was at 12. The way that it's not just revolved around one line specifically, but all 4 lines right now, I can't remember a time when that was actually a possibility. Instead of the top two, it's all four right now. So yeah, like you mentioned, the depth scoring right now is picking up at the best possible time, and everyone's in a good spot right now. There's no other way to sugarcoat that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. A big shout out to Anthony Giammatteo over on TikTok, who's hammering the like button as well here. So if you want to join the live on YouTube as well, you can get both sides of the conversation. Peter's always got some incredible things to say, so make sure you head over to our YouTube channel as well. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to see that kind of speed burst from a guy that, like, we talked in the playoffs. He had nothing going for him in the playoffs last year, nothing, and it made it a lot tougher to sit there and stand by this guy being like, maybe he's a mid-6, maybe. But what we've seen from him lately, like, he's in double digits for goals. He's right up there with some of the big names. He's adapted his game. He's playing well. He's playing physically. And, I would take a Bobby at this point, and this is nothing against Max Domi. He's played well as well. He's actually really engaged, and we talked about last week. He engaged physically. It changed the way that he approaches his game. But I would take a Bobby McMahon over a Max Domi if you have to make that call, right? Like, and when Robertson's back, you're gonna have to make some calls. Obviously, Calle Yarncroke's the first to go, mind you. He scored the goal last night.
It's more so when Dakota Joshua comes back. That's when things get a little bit more conflicted.
Yeah, no, 100%. So it's the Leafs are going to have decisions to make. I mean, I think we're naive to think that the trade deadline is not going to be maybe a complete debacle when it comes to the rumor mill. Things are going to be said, names are going to be thrown out.
It just seems like a year where maybe not a whole lot will happen. You'll see a lot more minor moves.
Yeah,
given because of the Olympics.
Yeah, and it's just I think to be honest, it's just going to be, from a Leaf perspective, it's going to be to clear up some space and try and
the parity of the
yes, 100%. Quick comment here on YouTube. I think it's important for Trey to try to get Lott and McMahon discussion underway for new contracts. I'll be honest with you, Gary, and thank you for the comment. Longtime listener, we appreciate you tuning in. The one thing for me for Scott Lawton is, like, there's been a lot of question marks around where his offense has gone. Like, where, like, the guy in Philly that, put up, 40, 50 point seasons. But at the same time, like, this guy went on a run of winning like 83 out of like 92 faceoffs over a 2-game span.
And 95% against his former team.
Yeah, 95% against his former team. Got the tying goal, the shorthanded goal.
Yeah.
So for me, and like, this is a piece I want to actually do for the Hockey Writers, I don't think anybody's really touched on it really, is that Scott Lawton's importance to this team goes much deeper than the offensive side of the puck. And even
it showed in that post-game interview with Cowan too, where he's got that lighter side to him, getting him out of. Yeah,
wanted to be William Nylander for Halloween, but couldn't find the fit. Said the fit didn't necessarily go with him. But that would probably
be an expensive costume if you're trying to dress like Willie.
Yeah, you got to go find a cheap version at like Value Village or something. But no, anyways, I do think it's important to lock him up. I mean, he's a Toronto boy. He wants to be there. It's pretty obvious that he wants to be there. And even when the team was doing bad, one of the guys that was coming out and not feeding you cliche after cliche was Scott Lawton, saying like, this team has not been good. Oliver Ekman's Larson's another guy. Like, is he not the most consistent D-man you have on the team right now?
He is. And I go back to last night where, again, I was able to watch the first period. That little extra like tap from Barrett Hayton on Dennis Hildeby, and OEL was right there, and he just instantly started wailing on him. He's that first guy into a scrum where he sees something that he doesn't like, and he's not afraid to show it. And we're seeing that a little bit more with the Leafs right now, where they're not taking anything, they're standing up for one another. And I think that was the big issue in the past, where there's still some things here and there where you would like a response, but when you instantly touch a goalie, that's fair game. It's basically on, and OEL did not hold back against that. So to me, as you mentioned with like OEL, with Lawton at times, with Domi, they're not afraid to engage. They're not afraid to get in there and mix things up. And
Yeah,
that's what
no,
you want to see right now, especially from that bottom part of the lineup.
100%, 100%. Gary follows that up. Lawton is a defensive monster and
Yeah.
stabilizes the room. And PK, absolutely, 100%.
I am
I
fine
think,
without the offense at this point. He
yeah,
knows his role right now. He came over here knowing what his role was going to be, and if he's signing maybe 2-3 years, maybe around 2 to 3 mil, if he's comfortable with that, I'm all aboard for that.
yeah, no. Well, and on top of that, like it's, I think he knows when to step it up. He's always going to grind. He's always going to find ways to try and force the offense and create opportunities in the offensive zone. As for Bobby McMahon, I mean, he's a guy that like I think he's letting his work speak for himself right now. Like, and what you saw his entrance the other night,
Oh yeah, with the
like the
worker
outfit
from
Kevin.
from Loblaws, yeah.
Kevin from Loblaws,
Yeah.
longtime Leaf fan. Even Haley Wickenheiser had tweeted about him. It's going to be tough to walk in there and not see the guy and his spirit and everything like that. So like, I mean, things like that. Like 45 games this season for McMahon, 24 points, 14 goals. He's 6 away from a career high in goals. So these are the guys that you want to continue to maintain throughout your lineup. These are the guys that want to be there. These are the guys that are fighting day in and day out to try and make sure that things happen for this hockey club. And I think that's the important side. If you can get good, I'm not going to say team friendly, but like realistic deals done for these guys, that's going to make sense for this team. And that's when you can start, making sure that you have your bottom 6 solidified with guys like McMahon and guys like Lawton. So great comment, Gary, and completely agree. I think it's time to start looking into that as well.
With McMahon going at his skating speed for the season per NHL Edge, max skating speed 24.25 miles per hour, 99th percentile. Speed burst of 22 plus miles per hour, 97th. 130 of 20 to 22, 98th percentile, and 363 speed bursts between 18 and 20, 92nd percentile. So he's up there in the top skaters in terms of the league and in terms of like speed and burst.
Yeah, no, 100%. So I mean, like that's what you need in this lineup. Earlier in the season, we're talking about how this team's not quick enough to keep up with some of the other teams. Now all of a sudden, you've got a guy who, top 90, or what is it? Would you say 95th percentile?
In the top 90 percentiles, yeah.
So I mean, like, how can you not try and lock that up? And I mean, if he's going to put the puck in the net as well, I mean, he's creating opportunities for the bottom 6.
Yeah.
Anyways, we kind of touched on it a little bit. The Colorado game. The Leafs obviously go in there and manage to get the job done. It's, I believe, just what was it? Just the 7th. Sorry, I got to look up that stat again. But anyways, Colorado. Obviously, we all know Colorado's season, how it's been going, and really a rare loss for them at home. And this time it's against the Maple Leafs.
I know it was their 17-game win streak on home ice that was ended because of the Leafs.
Yeah, there was something else too. It was
Okay.
like, yeah. Anyways,
then.
it might have been Anyway, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The Leafs won. That's the point. The Leafs won.
That's
the Leafs got
main
the job
important
done.
thing right there. Yeah.
But there's something that stood out for me from Craig Berube in the room afterwards, and it was that he walked in, and as soon as he walked in, he said, "Look, guys, we can compete against anybody. We came in here, we got the job done against the best record in the NHL, and we got the job done." So I think that to me is maybe the most important part of the whole thing, is that like how many teams have gone up against Colorado this season and haven't been able to get the job done. The Leafs find a way to get it done. We mentioned Austin Matthews and the cockiness that's there, the confidence, the celebration. We talked about Bobby McMahon and the speed. Like, there are so many things to take away from this game, this win. And then of course, like, we'll tie it into this conversation as well. But then they go into Utah on a back-to-back, give up 6. Yeah. Dennis Hildeby didn't look the best. Also didn't have a ton of help. And the Leafs looked tired. The Leafs looked like, there's no question about it, the Leafs look tired. There's been so many
You could tell that that game really took a lot out of them.
Yeah, it really took a lot out of them. So I think in that sense, like it's important to note that, but at the same time, like you got to take the silver linings. The Leafs have been on an absolute tear. They were
Yeah.
able to get the job done in Colorado against one of the toughest teams, and then they kind of throw up a stinker. But what were your takeaways from those two games?
I'm just going to say this right now. I have Dylan Genther and Nick Schmaltz in one of my fantasy leagues. So seeing them tear it up for one game, but then Austin Matthews, Nylander, and OEL tearing up in another, where they're still on my same team with Schmaltz and Genther. Really great to see both guys kind of, do their thing fantasy wise, but fantasy's out of the question right now. Yeah, the first game against Colorado, I'm just going to start off with that because of the fact that they went toe to toe with the absolute juggernaut in the league, and they are basically putting up the same type of numbers that the Boston Bruins did 2-3 years ago, and they're on pace to match that. And that season, the Maple Leafs had no answer against the Bruins, I don't think. This season, they actually had a response to the Colorado Avalanche. And when you're going up against McKinnon, Makar, Natchez, I was low on Brock Nelson. I thought signing them and trading for him was a mistake. He's looking really good right now. I will eat my words on that. But their blue line, they're just very solid all around. And even Trent Miner, too. Like, I did not know anything about this kid until recently, and he had a really good outing. So when you have that good of a team in front of an inexperienced goalie, you know the expectation is they're going to win. But for the most part, Toronto was keeping up with them in the first period. They were matching their speed. And again, Colorado has that quick strike offense. They want to be a threat in transition all the time. They take advantage of those rush chances. Yeah, they may have given up a few, but the Maple Leafs were calm in that regard. So seeing that consistently throughout the whole entire game in the first period, even in the second, the Maple Leafs had that, shot advantage against the Avalanche in that period. Although it was very, very close until maybe the third period where Colorado turned on the guns. But that at that point, you're expecting that of Colorado. You're expecting that out of from McKinnon, who is a top 2 player in this league right now. And for them to find a way to win it in overtime, how can you not feel, confident in your own game despite what transpired early on in the season? So for them to get that extra point in overtime, to me, getting the overtime against Colorado was a win in itself. The fact that they actually handed them another loss, although it wasn't a regulation one, still impressive in that regard. And how can they not feel that confident in their game right now where you could go toe to toe with the top team in the league? You do that, you could do anything. Then again, counterpoint, you're riding high in that after that game. It's a trap game against Utah. Come out flat-footed, can't make a pass. Hildeby looked off. Everybody looked off. So I'm willing to say that game was probably a mulligan. You're willing to wipe that slate clean, get rid of that footage, throw it, flush it down the toilet, burn it, do whatever you want to do with that game tape, and hope that whatever you made you successful the first 8 games of this series or the first few weeks of, January, hopefully you are taking that into Vegas and you're not worrying about what happened against Utah. Because that to me is this team gets into that funk where the bad habits creeped in, they had a bad outing, and they continue for a bad stretch. You need to start that off again with another dominant win against another top team and a team that actually has more losses than wins, and they're first in their division, which is kind of surprising at that point. So if they're able to take it to Vegas and have that kind of outing that they did against Colorado, I think this team is still going to be in a good spot, and they're able to get behind or put a bad game behind them and move forward and focus on the next game after that.
Yeah, no, 100%. And you guys kind of see my daughter floating up in here. I showed Peter a picture before the show as well. When I came down one night, she's had the computer open, the mic in front of her face, and the headphones on. So she's a performer. She likes to be on here. So if you see her, that's what she's doing. But anyways, I like to be transparent, right? Like I like to be transparent. But yeah, no, I agree. I think what the team needs to do, they need to take away what they can take away from the Colorado game. Short memory. Remember, it was a back-to-back against Utah. Utah's a strong organization.
They are a good team. Yeah.
Dylan Genther's played well since they've gone to Utah. Like, there's been a lot of conversation about how well they're taken care of there, and
Mhm.
how much respect they get from the fans and the
They actually have an
organization. And
owner that cares too.
they have an owner that wants
That's the
them to
main
be
thing.
there, right? And
Yeah.
that is willing to invest in the team, and it's showing, right? Vehmelka is looking incredible. It's just been a complete turnaround for the Utah Mammoth, and the Leafs got to look at it and say, like, we just went on a huge run point wise. We can't sit here and dwell on a 6-1 loss against a team that's likely going to make the postseason in the Western Conference. And as you mentioned, take those silver linings of how you've played over the last 10 to 15 games, and that's what you got to go into Vegas for, because this is where the microscope is. This game has been circled since Mitch Marner closed the door on negotiations with this team, and the word was that he was going to Vegas. This game was circled. There's going to be money on the board, I'm sure, on both sides.
And then his return next week to Toronto.
After a back-to-back against the Kings, which I believe they already said he's not going to be made available for media.
Yeah.
I think they said
we already knew at the beginning of the year that there was going to be no media availability with that game in Toronto.
I'm pretty sure the organization said that was the case before the season even started.
Or it wasn't made known, but I think a lot of the media knew that usually on a back-to-back, visiting teams don't usually
have their star players out there. Yeah, 100%. So, anyways, that's neither here nor there. The media in Toronto don't normally talk to second liners anyways, but
I will say this. Jonas Siegel did have a good, piece that came out on The Athletic on Mitch Marner and the struggles that he's facing with a new team regardless.
Yeah.
So to me, that was a good look and the great one-on-one with him. Again, we could all have our opinions on Mitch Marner at this point, but to me, he gave up that limelight spot in Toronto to go here, but even so, the struggles are just as magnified in albeit a quieter market.
Yeah. I mean, it is, and that's the difference, right? The quieter market certainly makes a difference for a player like Marner, whereas like in Toronto, it's going to be magnified. We saw it with guys like, I go back to like a guy like Jake Gardner. Like, no, he wasn't a first pairing defenseman, but he was put in a position where he was, and then his struggles were magnified and basically ended his career, right? So I think we can all agree that, maybe the Toronto market is difficult to play in when it comes to the media circus that's there, but that's part of the organization. That's part of being part of an original six franchise. The Rangers get the same with the former Larry Brooks, like the late Larry Brooks, like he held people accountable in New York. Boston's the same. Montreal, right? Like wherever you go.
About to say Montreal too, even with them being like at the top of the Atlantic Division, even a minor little blip in their play, that got magnified big time.
Yeah, 100%. Gary says he's going to hear the Boo Birds when he comes back to Toronto next week. There's no question. I have a buddy actually going to the game in Vegas, going to the game against Vegas in Toronto. I told him to make a sign, but with the way that signs are being taken away by NHL organizations right now south of the border, again, not getting into the political talk.
Yeah,
but signs are being taken away. I know there's one about. Again, we won't talk about it, but Brett Howden, that was taken away in Vegas, I believe. So, anyways, the struggle's real for sign makers out there. But yeah, I know it's.
You want to exchange, a candy for stick.
Yeah, like maybe get him some like nerds or something like that.
Yeah,
call him a nerd.
Sour Patches, Skittles. I don't know. Was he a big Skittles or Sour Patch guy? I don't know.
Nobody knows because the Toronto media didn't cover it enough. Anyways, you know what? It's all jokes and sarcasm here, but like we said it.
I was about to say too. We all need to see that there is going to be a human element to this, regardless.
Absolutely, and regardless of what you think of Mitch Marner, we're not going to sit here and bash the fact that he's a top 20 player in the league.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. Top 20, I think, is fair.
An Olympian at that, too.
What's that?
An Olympian, too.
An Olympian, right? And I I'll never agree with the way he went about it. I'll never agree with leaving the way that you did after
Yeah.
everything that you said. And that goes for every athlete, right? Like we've seen other guys do the same thing. In saying that, like I hope he finds the success that he's looking for without the ridicule and the outside element that affected his family, because like especially having a family, like you never want that kind of stuff for your
Hmm.
family. So I do hope that he finds that. It's genuinely too bad that he couldn't find that same success in Toronto. Like you talk to any guys, any alumnus in the Leafs organization, and it doesn't take much to be a hero or to be an anti-hero, right? Like
Yeah.
you could be you could be. I mean, look you look at Wendell Clark. He went out there and he laid everything on the line, and he became a piece of this organization that nobody will ever forget. A Doug Gilmour, a Matt Sundin. You know, some would argue that he was never successful. I would argue the opposite. He went out there and he put up everything that he could.
I
Again,
was just about to say, if you lay it on the line, regardless of winning anything, if
mhm,
you play your tail off
mhm.
in Toronto, I think that's all that people care about.
Yeah, and again, a guy that left on kind of not so fun terms, but did it in a way that it didn't sting as much as Mitch Marner, I think, because
Mhm.
you knew that he was on the back nine. People wanted him to finish his career with the Leafs, but it
Yeah.
just didn't happen that way. Whereas with Mitch, I think we talked about his interview with with Mark Masters, and just like I think he did more damage to his legacy as a
Yeah.
Maple Leaf than resolving it. But at the end of the day, like you hope that he finds what he's looking for in Vegas, and hopefully that it doesn't include a cup.
Yeah.
From a Leaf standpoint.
I will say this too. Everyone is going to point to the fact that this could be like a whole John Tavares type situation. Yeah, Mitch Marner is going to get booed, but is it going to get to the extent of JT level? I don't know.
We're
But
not
like,
we're not New Yorkers. We're not New
yeah,
Yorkers.
I was about to say the way they left is completely different. Mitch Marner, there were a lot of things leading up to Mitch Marner's departure. Talking about what it's like in Vegas, not really waiving his no trade clause, but then again, with his wife expecting, I wouldn't either if I was in his situation. The fact that he had it, or they had an opportunity to trade him years before and he didn't waive it. They had a chance to extend him, he didn't. That to me is more leaving a sour taste in like a fan base's mouth than JT leaving with his wife for potential opportunities to grow with his family and start a family in the place that he grows up. That to me is a little bit different. There were a lot of what ifs, ands, or buts and question marks surrounding Mitch Marner. John Tavares was adamant about leaving for family reasons. And I don't understand how you could still be mad at that, because the way that Mitch Marner left would leave more of a sour taste than the way JT left New York. That's just
Yeah,
my take.
yeah, no, 100%, 100%. And I think too, it's it's uh it's just it's trying to remember, like you said, there is a human element. He
Mm-hmm.
was fortunate enough he had the opportunity to choose not to go, right? Whereas like I
Yeah.
was listening to an interview with Marco Sturm the other day, and he was saying like, there was a point where he got traded and his wife was pregnant, and there's nothing he could do about it. He didn't want to go, but there's
That
nothing
right.
he
That was
could
the
do
Joe
about it.
Thornton trade, right?
Yeah, that was the Joe
Yeah.
Thornton trade. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, there is an element that we forget as well, and I get it. You're at the end of the day, your loyalty is not as much to the team as it is to your family, but you know, sports fans are crazy.
Yeah.
Sports fans have a different level. The real sports fans. I'm not gonna like
Mm-hmm.
not the ones that sit there in docks and all that crap, right? But
Just troll
um,
because they have nothing else better to do with their life.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But safe to say, it's gonna be a crazy atmosphere in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have Leaf fans in Vegas. They're probably gonna get drowned out, but there will be some in Vegas. I'm
Oh
sure
yeah.
that will have a lot to say as well. But anyways, before we get to anything else here, just a quick word from our fans our sponsors over at DraftKings
No, we could call
Sportsbook.
them fans.
They're fans too. They're fans of the show. Not when we take their money, but that's okay. Um, the jaw-dropping moments that make hockey hockey. Experience them all with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Missouri listeners, listen up. DraftKings Sportsbook is now live in the Show Me State. New customers, this one's for you. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. Pass-through or per wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright NHL 2025. All rights are reserved.
I was about to say a little bit of breaking news for a former Maple Leaf. Apparently, Yanni Hakanpää is signing a 1-year deal with Karpat.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice. Well, hopefully he's healthy, because I think he got 3 games with the Leafs, 2 games with the Leafs.
At least 2-3. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was unfortunate. I thought that would have been a good signing if he could have remained healthy, but unfortunately, he didn't go that route. That's awesome for him. I also read the other day, and maybe this is old news. Maybe people already knew about it, but did you know that Ruslan Fedotenko married his so he was with the Sioux City Musketeers. Is it the Sioux City Musketeers?
USHL? Believe so, yeah.
He married his billet mom.
What?
Debbie? Debbie the billet mom? I look it up. I could be totally BSing everyone here. But it came up on the old Instagram news feed, and I was like, this might be old news. And then I was like,
I'm seeing something. We learned that Fedotenko married his billet mom from his time with the Sioux City Musketeers.
And then I went into some deep rabbit hole on Reddit, and it's it was a bunch of junior fans or junior players that talked about billet families and the kind of stuff that anyways.
Wow.
That's insane.
That is insane.
I don't we're not going to get into it because it's just it's an effed up situation. But anyways, I just thought I'd throw it out there because I found that crazy news. But yeah,
that is definitely crazy. Yeah.
There you go. Your fun fact for the the week, if that is in fact true. Insane.
Yeah, I just saw it on the Hockey Forever. I saw that. I'm like, yeah. Again, with everything on the internet, I take with a grain of salt.
Yeah, take it with a grain of salt.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Gary found it as soon as I put his name in Google. Very true and weird.
Of course, Google.
Well, Bruce, if you look up his wife's name, her name is Debbie. And yeah. I was trying to find, anyways, doesn't matter. The fact is, Ruslan's happily married.
That happy life. That's basically it at this point. But yeah.
Oh God. Anyways, last thing we last Leafs related thing I'll say. Mm-hmm. There's some rumors out there, and we talked a little bit in the opening here about the trade deadline and what could possibly happen for the Leafs. Dougie Hamilton is believed to be on the market, and it is rumored that the Leafs are one of 2 teams that are highly interested and highly involved in conversations regarding the big defenseman, especially with Chris Tanev likely out for the season. There's a little bit more speculation there that the Leafs could be a team that goes after him. Your thoughts on Dougie Hamilton? What would it take to bring in the big boy in Toronto?
Yeah, and to me, when I saw everything, I was just like, maybe you try to stay away from Dougie Hamilton because this is a guy that's a little bit older, or roughly around the same age as Morgan Riley right now. But this is a guy that really doesn't excel defensively, although apparently looking at some of the stat cards this year, his defensive numbers have been a little bit better than his offensive ones. So that's one way of looking at everything. But if you're trading Dougie Hamilton, maybe just a little bit of a buyer beware kind of thing, because you know exactly what he's going to do when he has the puck. He's going to be a gifted puck mover, getting the puck out of that zone, transitioning, breaking out, being an offensive driver, getting pucks on net, and a right-handed shot. That is fantastic. But you also got to take with that, defensive concerns within his own zone where maybe it's not the best at times. And you know how the Maple Leafs struggled defensively at times this year. Granted, they were out with a lot of injuries. Now they're picking up a little bit better. They got Brandon Carlo. I get you're out Chris Tanev, and you need to bring in a guy to solidify at least that top four. Maybe you take a gamble. Maybe you try to see if a lot of money could be retained, because $9 million is definitely a hefty price even for 2 more years. I just kind of feel like this is a move where if anything still involves an Easton Cowan or Ben Danford, I'm hanging up the phone right then and there. Not going to bother giving up the futures, as we talked about last week with the whole Jason Robertson thing about possibly trying to land him and then sign him. It's cupboard's bare. You don't have first round picks until 2028. You got mid round picks, but even then that's hit or miss sometimes. So to me, would I trade for Dougie Hamilton right now? It's 50-50. There's a lot of pros. There's a lot of cons at this point. If you're getting him, it's probably just going to be the same thing you're probably going to get with Morgan Rielly, but maybe just slightly better defense from Hamilton, considering that his numbers from some stat cards this year are a little bit better. I don't know. It's a tough spot. It's between them and the Hurricanes, and I don't know if Hamilton will go back to Carolina, considering how things kind of ended off there, so to speak. Don't know what's going to happen. We all remember seeing Dougie Hamilton with that picture of him with the Leaf jersey. Hopefully you bring him home. Hopefully he has a little bit of incentive to play for the home team, play with that passion. We'll see, but I don't know. I just got my reserves about Dougie Hamilton at this point. He fits the bill, but I got some, question marks.
Yeah, I'll stick to what I've been saying for a long time now. You don't give up future pieces for a guy that, one, is injury prone, and two, I don't think we've seen enough out of him this season to see where he's at physically. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Cowan, Danford, that's an immediate no. Even like an Akhtiamov or something like that. Like, I would say no right now. Like,
I would say maybe if you need to move a goalie because it could get a little bit crowded, maybe, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure Dougie Hamilton's the one you want to move it for. I think if you get a good top six forward, then you move a guy with term
goaltending,
for sure,
a goaltending prospect, and you sure as hell don't move any more first round picks. We talked about that last week as well. So I think
I was about to add if you can get that price to lower because he has a 10-team no trade list, and the fact that I believe it was in that piece about LeBrun where he mentioned that the agent wants to see, or the team wants to expand that 10-team no trade list, mm-hmm. or that 10-team trade list to see if there are other suitors. If that's a case where you can probably lower the price if they expand it, because basically all the leverage is out the door right now for everyone involved on that side, for Hamilton, for the Devils, everybody. Yeah. So I think maybe if you're a team outside, you have a good chance of maybe trying to lower that price. It's just like, well, you're trying to see if you can get more teams involved. What does that say?
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I'm not sold on that. It's always good to have the rumor mill going with big names, and like we can sit here and suggest players that would go out, but at this point, if you can't get Dougie Hamilton for like a cheaper price tag, like I'm not making that move. I'm not. Mm-hmm. It's not picking up Dougie Hamilton is not going to put you over the edge. It's not gonna. Yeah. It's not going to put you to that next level where you're going to go and win a cup. That's where I'm at right now. That's my thinking. So, I'm not dead set on that. I think it certainly drives the interest heading into the deadline to have those names out there, but Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what
Yeah.
happens.
Per JP Barry, Dougie has a 10-team trade list, and there have been efforts to trade him going back to the draft last year. We made it clear to the Devils that we will consider teams outside our list and other creative ways to get a team that is mutually acceptable. So they're trying to Devils want to move on from him big time.
Yeah, I
Or
honestly, I
JP
think,
or Dougie wants to move on.
yeah, I think it goes back to injuries. He's probably not in a position he wants to be in, and now they've got Simon Nemec coming up, who's looked incredible this season.
Mm-hmm.
Like aside from his injuries as well, so something's in the water in New Jersey where defensemen just can't stay healthy. But, anyways, that's kind of all we got for the Leafs talk. I do want to mention obviously the Olympic rink and locker rooms. There's still construction going on there. A lot of uncertainty right now going into the Olympics. Not great. Not great for the first time back for NHLers.
If you've seen the video posted by Chris Johnson about the locker rooms, how it's not even nearly done, that is just an unmitigated failure from everyone involved. IOC, Italy, like you had 7 years to prep for this thing. Only right now is the arena getting done, and they're having minor fixes here and there because the rink is done. But man, if the dressing rooms still aren't done and not completed, man, this has just been an absolute disaster. And whoever's hosting 2030, I believe that's the next one. I think it is back in France. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because 2034 is Salt Lake City again.
Yeah, so even so, if it's 2034 is Salt Lake City,
their goal, they've got the arena now.
You got the arena.
Yeah,
there is no questions about that,
yeah,
unless you use a second one. But
they're actually doing construction on the Mammoth Arena right now, and it's not that arena was not the same one they used back in was it 2002 or 20? Yeah, 2002 with Salt Lake City.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not the same arena that was used for figure skating, but they're doing work on it now to make it Olympic ready for 2030, 2034.
I was about to say, if that rink is still available and still in circulation, or there's not a whole lot of issues, do whatever you can to fix it up so you have two arenas where you could do that 1A, 1B kind of thing. Group A plays here, Group B plays here, kind of like World Juniors.
Yeah.
Do the same for France. If I'm just going to do a quick search up right now.
France has a relatively decent though pro league, right? Like so they should be okay. Maybe looking at more seeding, but outside of that, they should be okay.
Yeah, French Alps region in France, because if this whole situation with Italy wasn't going to work, take it to like
Davos.
Like I was about to say, go to Switzerland, go
Davos,
to Austria,
baby, that would be sick.
Go to at least areas where the rinks are absolutely manageable and it's in place. Because if we weren't going to put it in there, or if I was the NHL, if it's not done, I'm going to have a contingency plan. Plan B is playing outside, but you still win the gold medal for Italy. Hopefully France is going to get on top of that, because that'll definitely be another big question mark, but let's hope that they're a little bit smarter and got ahead of planning.
Hey, plan B for France, if it's not ready in 2030, they play up in the Alps. They have to get like helicoptered up, team by team, helicoptered up. Fans can watch from afar, but they can't. They've got like an outdoor rink in the Alps. That'd be sick.
ODR. ODR for the Olympics, man?
Right? That'd be
sick. Yeah.
Gold medal outdoor game. That'd be insane.
Oh God.
Big ideas. Big ideas. And if the NHL calls me for any ideas, I'm there. Double IHF. Hire me.
I was about to say you should be heading some things for an NHL right now compared to what we're seeing right now with a lot of their
content creation.
Yes. Events manager Andrew Forbes.
That's right. Yeah. Oh God. Anyways, last thing, and you know how much I hate to end on a sad note, but sad day as a former NHLer passed away. Jason Lafreniere. He passed away, I believe, at the age of 59. Yeah, 59. He was at home in Vancouver, part of the NHL Alumni Association, and just a statement made by the association. Jason proudly shared that his father, Roger Lafreniere, who passed away in 2009, who also played in the NHL with the Detroit Red Wings and the St. Louis Blues, taught him everything he needed to know about being a hockey player. We send our deepest condolences to Jason's family, friends, and former teammates during this incredibly difficult time. he was the 36th overall pick by the Quebec Nordiques in 1985. So along with the NHL Association, we do send our thoughts and prayers to his family, friends, and former teammates, as 59 is way too young for anybody to pass away. So to Jason's family, friends, and teammates, we at the Sticks and the Six podcast are with you, and we are thinking about you in this difficult time. Okay, outside of that, Peter, what do you got going on this week, my friend?
Draft rankings came out earlier this week, so that's some draft content there. A little bit more because the OHL Top Prospects game is tonight, so I want to see some of those lesser-known names that I haven't quite caught wind of just yet, or have maybe, glanced over my field of vision. So tonight's going to be a great opportunity to see some of those names that are in Central Scouting's rankings, but hopefully see what they got for the showcase. Because last year, a few names quickly rose up because of me, and they were in my March ones instantly. So this is a good time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I do want to give a shout out to Kyle and Dylan over at the Hockey Podcast Network. They continue every month. You guys don't see what they do behind the scenes at the Hockey Podcast Network, but every month they give me a little update on where we are for the year for downloads. So this year in 2025, guys, we finished just shy of 6,300 downloads on the Sticks and the Six podcast. Obviously, we want to take that to the next level. We want to get to like 10K if we can per year. We want to get larger if we can. So as always, folks like Gary and all them that tune in weekly, shoot us a message. What can we do better? What can we do differently? We want to grow this podcast. We're continually looking to learn. We're now, like I said, on TikTok live. I'm kind of live on TikTok here as we go as well. There's some people who've been viewing just the one side of the podcast. They've been hammering the like button over here on TikTok. So we're trying to grow our footprint on every aspect that we can. And we appreciate those who tune in on a weekly basis. It's amazing to converse with you guys, to talk hockey. That's why we started the show. That's why we want to continue to grow the show, and we're gonna continue to take this to the next level in 2026. So, to the Hockey Podcast Network, to Dylan, to Kyle, we appreciate you. To all the shows that are there, we appreciate you. As always, guys, DraftKings. SeatGeek, BioSteel. Make sure you check out the codes in the show description below. SeatGeek, you get $20 off your first purchase with the code Sticks in the Six Pod. BioSteel, you get 20% off online for using Sticks in the Six on all your orders. So make sure you check that out in the show description. Otherwise, if you haven't already, hammer that subscribe button on YouTube. Head over to our TikTok live. Make sure you like that as well. We're going to be on there. I'm going to be on there as much as I can. Grow that footprint. And as always, guys, tune in next week. We'll have some Marner talk. Marner talk next week as we get set to take on Vegas in Toronto. Until next time, that's it for Peter and I here at Sticks in the Six. Episode 220, leaving it with our good friend Alex Hobson and his song 25.
Seagull guitar.